Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. All right, this is looking very fuzzy to me again. Hopefully it's not too bad. So, hello from rainy, gray, wet New Jersey. Yeah, if any of you have heard about the nor'easter that's coming up the coast, the Atlantic coast, we didn't get any snow. My cousins did. Instead, we got just rain since yesterday morning, just pouring rain. It's horrible. It's still cold, not cold enough to snow, apparently. I would have preferred the snow, honestly, because tomorrow when I have to drive a school bus, this is all going to be frozen. And I think it's dangerous. And unless it snows, they won't do a delay for the school or anything. So I'm not looking forward till tomorrow morning. But why would I? Right? It's going to be 4:30 in the morning when I get up. Anyway, so this week, and I know I say this all the time. Oh, you have to excuse me. I'm really cold. I had to throw this on because I was so cold. This week, and I know I always say this, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I really didn't. This week really got away from me. We only had the 4 days, and it was a really weird week. You know, I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. We have this we had the holiday, we were off from work. Maybe some of you were off for a lot of time, like I was, or maybe some of you just had a lot of mixed days where you went into work and then you had the next day off and you didn't come back till Tuesday. Like one of my friends worked half day Friday in her office and then didn't have to go back until Tuesday. It's weird, right? You don't know what day it is. I didn't know what day it was for most of the week, the time that I was off. And you just start to you kind of come out of the hangover, right? And you're like, oh, I need to go food shopping. I'm done eating all the Christmas cookies. I don't have any food, stuff like that. So it was a weird week, but luckily when I was on vacation, I got lots and lots of stuff done. So today we're going to be looking at the See and Sew patterns. I'll just grab one to give you an example of what I'm talking about. It's going to be a lot of this. Lots and lots of 80s, like a ton of 80s. There's probably a little bit of 90s in here. I think there's even a little bit of 70s in here, but it's mostly 80s. There are some 90s in here. There's even some early 2000s because I also, while I was off, I worked on any doubles. So the doubles are here, and then the extra one I already put in my storage unit in with the whole collection of the many, 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 many patterns I have. These are all up online. The ones that I worked on the little bit that I worked on this week is not online yet, simply because I really like to photograph them in natural light. So you can get a really good image. I mean, the image looks good, but also more importantly, I want people to be able to read this without me having to do too much editing. Because I could technically do more of a close-up of this information in English, but then you lose stuff like this. You lose the line drawings, and you lose some of this verbiage here, because this is the Spanish one, right? And this is the one that's in metric. So I like to try and take a picture so you can see the whole back. For whatever reason you want to see the whole back. You might want to see what year, well, this one doesn't have the year on it, but you might want to see what year this is from, which would be on the back. So anyway, lots of stuff like this. Let's set the Wayback Machine and I'll show you what I worked on this week. Oh, so here we go. Yeah. It's not just a vest. It's an actual vest suit, which is it's aspirational. Yes, aspirational fashion, the vest suit. What I did notice about this haul is, late 70s, early 80s, women's clothing was really kind of cute, right? It wasn't fussy. It was casual, but everybody still looked really kind of nice in it. And I'm not talking about this. This is very urban cowboy. I mean, we have a lot of vests here on on my channel, but this might be the vest to end all vest. I'm trying to see if that even has, it does. It has one of those, I think they're called a concha, the silver concha things. You can see, let me see if I can get a close-up of it. You can see what I'm talking about. Remember these? They were silver or silver metal, and they were on belts. They were on everything. back in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. All right. This next one though, this is a late 70s pattern because yeah. Uh-huh. In fact, I'm surprised this one hasn't sold. I thought for sure this one, as soon as it went up online, would sell because look at the fabulousness of those. I believe they're called knickers, right? Knickerbockers, knickers, something like that. It does come with the very, very cottagecore bow blouse also. Yeah. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. Cute 80s clothes. Casual, but still really put together and really cute. You know, not difficult to wear. I'm noticing as I'm getting older, as I'm approaching 60, I'm really loving some kind of late 70s fashions. You know, like not so much stuff like this. I don't know how I feel about the giant shirts. This is probably later 80s because this looks like it's going to the 90s, but I really love myself some 70s style stuff. You know, the wrap skirts and the kind of casual blouses, wedge sandals, which in my opinion, wedge sandals are the best and never went out of style, especially like a wedged espadrille. This is so 80s. Look at the shoulder pads. Oh, I mean, we really were. But when I saw this, you know what I thought of? Remember the movie Working Girl? Tell me she does not have a dress like this in Working Girl. I'm really sure she does. Oh, and then there's this. This is actually a dress. I know it looks like two pieces, but if you look at the line drawings, it's actually a dress. But it's so stern looking, right? She looks like a mean librarian. Oh, and then there was this stuff. Yes, kids. Before cottagecore, there was the romantic look, is what we used to call it. I'm a little surprised this one hasn't sold either, because this to me is very, very cottagecore, very of the moment. I should look online when I get done and see if anybody has liked this, because it shows me when people have liked a pattern, because I think a lot of people probably like that pattern. And then the drop waist. I never liked drop waist. They did nothing for me, but they were a big thing in the 80s. Even into the early 90s, I remember them they were a big thing, you know. A couple maternity patterns in this haul, which was nice. You know, I think this is like late 70s. I'm thinking it's late 70s. But, you know, good pattern. I love to have maternity. All right, so here's one of the ones I was talking about. I had two of these, so here's one of them. It is for the pants and the tank top. It's from 2000, so very Y2K vibes, right? Remember Y2K? Do we all remember Y2K? Turn off your computer because the world's ending. Yeah, you guys remember. There were two of these. I thought this was interesting. To me, this looks like silk pajamas, but she's wearing high heels. So apparently she's going out to the club in the silk pajamas, which, who knows, you know, maybe not. Oh, and then there was this. There were also two of these. There's another one that looks really similar. It's not the same dress, but I did a double take thinking that I had 4 copies of it. I'm sure it's in here someplace. We'll see it. And some unisex patterns. I mean, these are just basically pull-on elastic waist shorts. There's not much to write home about them. A lot of short sets. Remember I had mentioned this before. I don't know. Maybe because maybe later in her life, she was wearing more casual stuff, you know, because her older patterns, you're seeing like, you know, 50s style big skirt dresses that are almost formal wear. And now just a plethora of these casual skirt set patterns. And then, oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I have a confession to make. I'm really sure I had this outfit head to toe. This is when I said it was a walk down memory lane, I wasn't kidding. Like, I'm really sure I had that, like basically this outfit, like the turtleneck and the kind of oversized jeans, right? Oversized high-waisted mom jeans, and the giant jacket with shoulder pads. In fact, I think my giant jacket was like a almost like a camel colored and black, but it was like a houndstooth, you know, but it was huge, you know, had giant shoulders. I got it at Macy's, you know, it was probably by Liz Claiborne. Another drop waist. Yeah, this is 90s, I think, but there we go with that drop waist. Oh, another maternity pattern. So Oh, and I didn't put the second one away. There were two of these, and I didn't put the second one away. So yeah, a couple maternity patterns, which is nice. And then here we go. Here's a perfect example of the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Look at how cute this dress is, right? Nothing to it. It's just a dress, but she looks so nice, but it's so casual. I know. I'm going to start ranting like one of those little old ladies who's like, girls today, the way they dress, but they really do dress. I mean, that's the thing is like, it's not even that they dress poorly. They just don't dress at all. I have girls that show up from my bus and I'm, thinking to myself, honey, do I need to give you a couple minutes so you can change out of your pajamas before you go to school? But, and the school apparently has a dress code that tells them they're not allowed to wear pajamas. But I don't know how the school knows that they're wearing pajamas. That, by the way, little on the Annie Hall side. I think this is 79, might be 80. So, because remember, the beginning of the 80s looked a lot like the kind of end of the 70s. And then we get into the more new waveness of the 80s, which comes in a little bit later, kind of my generation. In fact, all of these I think are like 78, 79, and 80. So they're all late 70s, very early 80s. But some good basic patterns. This one is the jacket and the skirt, and the last one was the shawl and the skirt. This one looks like Girl Han Solo. Yeah, that vest. That vest is giving me a lot of Han Solo kind of vibes. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's working for me. This pattern, this is funny. This pattern, I already had this, already sold it, but it's a great pattern. It's a basic shawl neck blouse pattern. It's not, it's very early. I think it's 1980. So it's not super oversized like a lot of 80s shirt patterns are. So here's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm digging the 70s vibe. So this is a wrap skirt with a polo shirt. You can make the polo shirt out of the stretch knit and you can add the detail like they show up here. But it's great, right? It's a wrap skirt and a polo shirt. But she looks great. Totally casual, totally comfortable. She looks good. I'm starting to really dig that vibe, that like late 70s, very early 80s vibe. And this, I'm very shocked this hasn't sold yet either. Very cottagecore. So this had two styles. You can wear it up on the shoulder, which they don't show, but they show it on the inside. You can wear it up on the shoulder or off the shoulder, but really cute, right? Cute dress. I would have loved this dress back in 1983 or whenever this pattern's from. Another dress that I swear I had this dress. I think I had this in pink. It was like a pink pattern, and I'm really sure that I had it because I remember this whole crossover thing and then the crossover on the sleeve. Yeah. And this, oh, I saw this. This is so super cute. It's, you can wear it as a jumper like she's doing it, or it's just a sundress. But I was like, what a great pattern. Just like a really basic tank style sundress, but you can make a belt to go with it and you can put a ruffle on it. It's really, really cute. Oh, sailor dresses. Yeah, right. So many cute sailor dresses. There were several dresses like that in here. We'll see some more. Another cute early 80s dress. The funny thing about this, I remember when this was very hot during the early days of the preppy handbook, Madras fabric was very popular. And then, it doesn't get much more 70s than this. It's very Lindsay Wagner as Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, right? I mean, it's got that look, right? All right, what else we got? Lots of dress patterns, a lot of dress patterns, actually. I was a little shocked how many were in here. So not really sure what she was doing, but I'm thinking she was sewing for other people because of the amount of dress patterns she had. A lot of these type things, like two-piece dresses. And then I almost put this in the thumbnail because it was so fabulous. It's so new wave. I love it. It's so new wave. I remember this kind of style, right? And then we have the complete opposite, which is, the stretch knit. This is, by the way, this is a jumpsuit. It looks like two pieces, but it's not. It's actually a jumpsuit. Yeah. Talk about loungewear. And this, are you ready, guys? Secret pants. Yep, those are gauchos, culottes, whatever you want to call them, with a ruffled blouse. So little secret pants going on there. Another short set. I'm calling these short sets because they are actually coordinated. The top and the shorts are in the same pattern, so you can either coordinate them. You can do them like this, where they're two different colors, but very cute, right? Hello, Olivia. How are you? Happy New Year. And then this, I wish this was my size because these are great pants. Not to mention that skirt, but alas, it is not my size. And then this, I would have totally worn this too. Totally would have worn this in the 80s. Probably had something like this that I'm not remembering. And then there's this cuteness. Look at this. It's actually two pieces. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually a dress that looks like two pieces. So you make the top out of the stripe and the bottom out of the khaki. But it's cute, right? It's so super cute. Oh, yeah. You have to drink water every time I say cute because I was watching Stephanie Canada and that's her new thing, Hi, Sybil Olsen. Just a jumper dress. Does not actually have the shirt, but just a cute jumper dress. And then, because we haven't had enough vest yet, yes, that's right. It's a dress with a quilted vest, no less. Yes. If you look at the directions, it does say quilted vest. Because why would you just have a plain vest when you could have a quilted vest? This is another one this is a 90s pattern, but I had two of these. And I kind of remember this kind of quintessential line, which had kind of a big dress buttoned up the front. Here's the one that I thought I had two of because they look so remarkably similar. That other yellow dress, of course, did not have this bottom ruffle skirt thing. So, which is actually, I think, yeah, it's its own skirt. It goes under the jacket. It's just a really basic pattern for the oversized jacket and the skirt. Oh, and the tank top. Okay, it includes the tank top too. Vests. I know you gotta love vests, don't you? And speaking of, I know it's so funny because it's like, how many vests can you have? Apparently, we just couldn't get enough of them back in the day. We just had so many vests. Oh wait, is this whole pile? Oh, this whole pile was duplicate. Sorry about that. Oh, it's falling over. Okay. Da-da-da, lots of casual wear. This is the later 80s. You can kind of tell by the hair. It's funny. The hair in the beginning of the 80s is very pulled back, barrettes clipped, ponytails, things like that. Kind of mid 80s, it starts to get a little crazier. And then by the late 80s, we start to get the really big hair. This one's not too bad. This is probably mid 80s, but there's a couple in here that I remember seeing where the hair, the hair was, the hair was getting big. This one actually, the hair is getting a little bit big. And as I said before, these are all up online. These are all the separates. I realized this week, cute little suit, by the way, very Mother of the Bride, right? Maybe not in white, but very Mother of the Bride. This one's also very Mother of the Bride. I'm wondering if she was doing like that type of bridal sewing. She might have been. When your 10 kids have moved out and you don't have as much to do during the day, I guess you find stuff. Another suit. Oh, and this one was so cute. Look how cute this is. It's hard to see, but this buttons. It's a button tank top, and you can't see it at all in those illustrations. And then another suit, which is a really cute kind of gathered detail. Trying to see if that, it kind of, I think it's a mock. I don't think it's a real wrap. I think it's a mock crossover, but you can see the crossover there. And this suit, I remember because it had the most interesting, can you see this? Kind of how this flares out. I thought that was a really interesting detail on a suit. And you can kind of see it. If you look at the line drawings, you can kind of see where the suit kind of swings out. Hello, Pamela. Do you like an oversized blazer? I get it. Yeah, they're nice. I like oversized coats, like overcoats in the winter, because then I can pile on the sweaters. I can do stuff like this. Like I'm freezing today. I have a regular shirt on underneath here, but I'm cold. So I threw this on before I started our little episode here. And this is the very last pattern. Just really cute. We had a lot of new people join, which I was very excited about. A little surprised, but very excited. I feel like in comparison to a lot of other people's videos, mine are kind of boring. I try and keep them funny, but they're kind of boring, right? But we had a lot of new people subscribe. So welcome if you're new. And just so you know, because I don't know if everybody knows this, I'm a bus driver. I'm single. I live with just this guy over here that's making all this noise. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. I try and make them funny, but I am thinking that I need to really learn how to do like better style videos, like as far as actual recording quality, because I'm looking at it, it looks really hazy to me. And I thought the one last week looked hazy, and I'm thinking that I need some light, and maybe I need different sound effects than he's going to kill the squeaker. He must get the squeaker from the toy. It's like a thing with him. Someone for Christmas gave him this like Christmas bear thing with a squeaker in it. I had to throw it away in an hour. I think he set a record. He knows I'm talking about him. I think he set a record on that one. He had the squeaker and all the stuffing out of that toy in an hour, and I had to throw it away. There was stuffing all over my apartment. I couldn't believe it. I was like, but anyway, so I'm a single bus driver. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I really do sew. That's what all that stuff is behind me, including, look, I found more thread. I had to go back and like move all the thread. I was like, I moved this one over one, I moved this one over one. Fit some more thread in here. Last year I bought 3,000 patterns from a woman named Mrs. Landis, not Mrs. Landis directly, but the person that cleaned out of her house, because I believe Mrs. Landis has passed. But I bought 3,000 patterns, and that's what we've been working on basically this whole year. So, you know, if you're just joining us, that's what you've stepped in is 3,000 patterns, some cut, some uncut, ranging from, we found like some 1920s patterns to, 100-year-old patterns, right up to like stuff that's from 2006, I think was it 2006 or 2003 was like the latest one, so 20 years ago. I'm glad the sound, thank you. I'm glad the sound quality is good. I don't know why it's hazy sometimes, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure why it's hazy, but I do think it's something to do with lighting. So I'm going to have to get better at my lighting, because my lighting's just not good. And I'm glad you can all hear him trying to kill the squeaker in that. So what are we looking forward to next week? Well, first of all, I have to talk very briefly about the Goodwill finds that I found this week. I don't know how well you guys could see it. And unfortunately, I've already put it up online and I put it in the storage unit. But I had found a Dimensions embroidery kit that came with 2 pieces of cane, like wicker pieces. And then it had a plastic canvas piece that attached to them. And you embroidered the whole thing and you made a magazine rack, right? I couldn't believe I found this. It was just so crazy. And one of the things that was really funny about it is like it was brand new. The bag had been punctured ever so slightly, but nothing was destroyed. So I just put it in a new bag that I had. And I was like, wow, what a find. So I just, if you want to go back and look, I did go to Goodwill on Monday because they had the 20% off coupon that they texted me. And then I did go back on Tuesday. I think Tuesday is when I found that cane thing. I even went back on Thursday. Did I go back on Thursday? I think I did. And I picked up, actually, I don't think I picked up anything for the shop. I think I picked up personal stuff. I always find good stuff at Goodwill. I just always do. Oh, thank you for not finding my videos boring, Olivia. You're so sweet. Olivia is always so nice. For any of you that are new, she's always very sweet, very supportive. I try and make them humorous. I do, because let's face it, it's funny some of these patterns are hysterical. Like we're revisiting stuff that we should have never worn. I mean, how many of us, raise your hand if sometimes I show a pattern and you're like, oh gosh, I had that outfit, right? Like what were we thinking? My favorite was a couple of months back when I found the stirrup pants patterns, because none of us should have worn stirrup pants. They made your leg look like a giant, I don't even know what to call it. It was like you didn't have any definition in your leg. It was just this big thing, right? Attached to your body. I used to show the patterns and the garments I made with them. I've been so busy in the last year, I haven't sewn anything. So Pamela, it is in the future. I really am trying to like make more time to do my sewing. It's just when you have hi Evangeline. When you have 3,000 patterns, especially because in the beginning, some of the patterns I felt like were at risk. There was obviously, I also bought the pattern cabinets, and there was a lot of rust, and you could see the rust on some of the patterns. I knew some of the patterns had possibly gotten wet, but I wanted to preserve them, especially the really cool vintage old ones. You want to keep them. I mean, literally, let's face it, they're not being made anymore. Yeah, once in a while, the big four re-release a pattern from the 40s or the 30s or the 50s, but not as often, and a lot of people will tell you, like someone like Stephanie Cano, they'll tell you that they're kind of crap, that they don't really match up to the old ones, so, They were horrible, right, Sybil? I mean, one of the things that I remember about the stirrup pant thing is I used to wear them. I look back at this and I'm like, what was I thinking? I used to wear the stirrup pants. So I had just like giant columns for legs. And then I used to wear them with an oversized sweater. I remember the sweater. It was like a turquoise. It was a beautiful color. It was like a teal. Remember when teal was really big? It was teal, and it was a turtleneck, and it had giant shoulder pads and long sleeves, and it came all the way down to the middle of my thighs. And I wore it over black stirrup pants. And let me tell you, I thought I looked great. Looking back, I had no waist, so I was a block. I looked like a popsicle, basically. I was like a giant block going into columns. So basically, if I stood still, I looked like a big popsicle with a head, but I thought I looked great. And I used to wear it with giant turquoise earrings, because that was another thing that we don't talk about too much from the 80s and 90s. Was remember how big our earrings were? I remember my earrings literally getting caught on like things like turtlenecks and everything, because they were just giant. I know we've all done these fashion faux pas. I love it. I love watching the younger women when they do that. Sometimes I watch these videos that are like get ready with me videos, and I'm watching their clothes and I'm like, girl, you're going to regret that one someday. But anyway, next week, we're going to have the rest of these. They'll be done by next week, including the like half a dozen I found that had actually been cut. All the pieces were there, but they've been cut. So we'll talk about those, because there were some cute ones. There were some, cute ones. This is really all 90s now. We're all 90s, and just a wee bit of the early 2000s, like Y2K to about 2003. Some unisex stuff. Here, I'll give you a for instance. Okay, so here's some this one we'll be talking about this next week, because I haven't looked at this pattern yet. I don't think it's cut, but it'll be stuff like this. Because it's important that your husband looks like you. And then it'll also be stuff like this, which I also haven't looked at. I don't know if it's uncut, but I'm assuming it is, because this is fabulous. And until next week, I hope that wherever you guys are, I'm drinking some tea, by the way, because it's so cold and rainy. It reminds me of England, that I've never been to, but, seems like appropriate. Until next week, I hope wherever you guys are, if it's this cold and wet, I hope you're at least getting snow, because it's pretty. And until then, please stay well. Be careful out there. Have a great week. And until I see you, thanks for stopping by. Thank you for joining anybody that's new. And I will see everybody next week. Bye.